Hey everybody, ronarray here, and as you probably noticed, economy in 0.3 is pretty strange. So, Divine is going down in price and Exalted currently cost significantly more than usual. So, in such an unstable economy situation, I wanted to share my farm that I've been using for the last few days to generate most of my currency. And I think that farm is going to be very stable, even the economy is going to keep being bumpy, because you're mostly going to focus on getting omens for yourself. Omens are always will be used for crafting, and there are always going to be a very high demand for omens, doesn't matter how much divine or exalted will cost at the moment. So I'm going to explain how I'm farming my rituals, what kind of tablets I'm using, how I'm buffing double or triple tower setup, and what you can expect in the rituals to make some currency. Hope it will be helpful for all of you, and let's go. So first off, let's talk about the mechanic itself. Ritual is a pretty basic mechanic when you will need to clear the rituals, kill as many monsters inside circle of the ritual as you can, and get as much tribute as you can. It's pretty important to defer items instead of buy them immediately, because deferring costs much less, you can literally just reroll your rewards and defer more and more stuff. A little later in that video I'm going to explain what kind of strategy I'm using to defer things and how we can maximize it. But the main idea here is that we are going to try and get as many omens as possible from the ritual itself, because omens right now could have a pretty decent prices and we can get a pretty decent amount of currency from it. So first off, let's start with the Atlas tree. For the ritual itself, Atlas tree is very simple. I recommend to take Spreading Darkness, because it will give you 4 ritual altars, which is very important. Otherwise, you can roll 3 and it will be much less tribute and it will be harder for you to defer and get everything that you want in one that ritual. After that, I recommend to get Tempting Offers, because it can give you ritual altars in your maps, allow rerolling favors and additional time. That way, you will be able to reroll favors in your maps twice. And you will have like double chance to get some omens inside, since you will need to spend all your rerolls to maximize your chances to get expensive omens. Also, rerolling favors will cost 25% reduced tribute, which is very nice at the moment. The next absolutely necessary passive is Ominous Portents. It gives you ritual altars in your map spam monster faster, and ritual favors in your maps have 100% increased chance to be omens. Since we are mostly trying to get omens, I believe that Ominous Portents is working very good and it's absolutely necessary to have it. And the last set of passives could be a little different. We barely have 2 options. It's He Approaches, which is currently give you more chances for revived monsters to be rare or magic. Or you have Promise Devotion, which will give you favors deferred reappear sooner and deferring will cost reduced tribute. I honestly believe that Promise Devotion is currently working better, because 50% reduced tribute for deferring is absolutely huge and you will save a lot of tribute while you're having it. So my tree at the moment looking like that. And talking about general tree, it's pretty interesting as well. For ritual, you only care about pack size and effect of explicit modifiers on your waystones. That way, nothing else playing any role. We are taking all possible bonuses around for the pack size, and even taking magic monster amounts and magic pack size in the maps, because the more monsters we will have in the maps, the bigger chance we will have that those monsters are going to spawn inside the ritual, we will kill them, and we will get more tribute that way, which is a very important right here. So if you want, you can drop some particular pack size note here and here and take essences, for example, or storm boxes if you're an absolute fan of this. However, if you want to maximize your gainings from just the ritual itself, I recommend a proximal tree like that. So nothing else here except chances for additional bonuses for precursor towers, explicit modifiers and pack size everywhere. Now, let's talk about what kind of tablets we are going to utilize for such setup. So first and foremost, we are going to use Freedom of Faith. Freedom of Faith right now is going to give you can reroll favors at ritual altars in your maps twice as many times. It's helping a lot because you will be able to reroll your rituals much more often and check out how good it's going to be. It currently costs only 5 exalted, so don't worry about using that. It's absolutely fine because it's completely not expensive. And we're going to combine it with ritual tablets for Omens. So perfectly, you should have increased number of rare monsters. Together with ritual favors in your maps have 15% increased chance to be Omens. It could be not 15, it can jump from 15 to 25. 15 is literally the lowest number that you can get, and usually you can settle with something around 20-25% chance. At least getting it closer to 20 is usually recommended, but make sure not to overpay from the tablets. So those tablets together are going to help us a lot with chances to get more Omens and with adding additional rare monsters to the maps, which we will be able to kill and get more tribute from them. Another cool idea is to use Visions of the Paradise if you have a lot of budget. Right now Visions of Paradise cost a lot, and it's practically 2 divines per each tablet, so make sure that you have enough currency and want to risk it. If you don't, just don't run Vision of Paradise at all. However, let me showcase on the map how we are currently using it. So perfectly, you will need to have at least double tower setup and triple tower setup if you're going to use Vision of the Paradise. If you're not using the Paradise, you practically need to just use Freedom of Faith together with your Omen tablets right here and add even more Omen tablets to the Sinking Spire down there. That way you will get a lot of ritual maps between those 2 towers and you can just farm them one by one. However, if you want to use Vision of the Paradise to farm the same maps multiple times, it could be an interesting way to do it a little differently. So if you're using Vision of Paradise, it's recommended to activate Vision of Paradise together with ritual tablets first and together with Freedom of Faith in your first tower. So you can just place it in and activate it all together. After that, all your maps around will receive irradiation status. When you will complete those maps first, instead of being closed so you can't reset it again, you can just lose irradiation status and you can farm those maps again. But instead of doing that, you will be able to use the second tower to buff your maps with irradiation again. So from the second tower, just buff irradiation tablets together with Omen tablets again. After that, you will become able to complete all the set of maps again, and from third tower you can literally do the same and complete all the maps one more time. So using Vision of Paradise, you can complete your maps like even 3 times for the price. So that's why that tablet practically costs 2 divines at the moment, because it's going to help you to maximize your profit, even if you will still need to run the maps many times at the moment. So make sure that you're just reapplying the irradiation from the new towers. But don't forget that you need to clear irradiation from maps before you will use the second tower. So first tower with the basic setup and Vision of Paradise, clear. Then second tower irradiation, then clear again, then last tower irradiation, and clear again. So that's practically how you can maximize your profit using Vision of Paradise. But just running a basic setup with double tower, chances for Omens, and rare monsters is going to provide a pretty decent amount of good Omens for you. So there's a lot of Omens currently that have not too big price, but still pretty decent, like Omen of Recombination currently costs about 12 Exalts, for example. Or you can also check a lot of additional Omens on top of it. So Omen of Whitling, for example, costs 100 Exalts, which is feeling absolutely great, and it's practically 2 divines if you will be able to get one. On top of it, there's a lot of other Omens that has pretty decent amount of prices. It's usually better to memorize which ones are great and which ones are not too crazy. So for example, Homogenizing right now costs 81 Exalted, which is absolutely great because it's very common in the basic ritual. On top of it, some additional thing like Omen of Dexterous Rager can cost 130, and so on and so on. At the moment there's a lot of expensive omens and it's much easier to recheck the prices at the moment. I also recommend to at least defer such things as Omen of Corruption or Omen of Amelioration. It costs not that much and you will be able to use Amelioration only for a little additional currency on top of it, but it's still pretty nice that you can get some from it at the moment. Because Amelioration at the moment is just like 9 exalted, but it's much better than nothing, and Corruption is like 6 exalted. So first off, let's talk about added Delirium. For the maps, I recommend to use Liquid Paranoia for additional rare monsters. Unfortunately, it's not showcasing the modifier, but the bonus is actually there. Or if you're not up for it, or you believe that Paranoia is too expensive for you at the minute, you can also run Diluted Liquid Guild just for additional pack size. Both of those options are going to be alright, but just to get a little more currency, generally, I prefer to run Paranoia on my Waystones. The rest of the Waystone could practically be any bonuses. I usually recommend to click it at least once, so you have at least 4 modifiers, and I heavily recommend to click your Waystones with Preserved Vertebra just to get one additional, almost free bonus at the moment. So in that, you can run something like that when you have a lot of bonuses stuck together and you will have no teleports. If your build currently can't handle it too good and it can lead to a situation when you're practically dying, make sure that you're not running too many mods or the mods that you can get. From bonuses such as Well of Souls, it's pretty easy to have additional things here, which is just improving amount of monsters or giving you any other kind of reward, because Abyss by itself is currently pretty profitable. So here, for example, I'm going to take increased monsters, but Abyssal Depth could be a pretty nice idea as well. Now, let's talk about what's happening in the map itself. So it's very heavily recommended to clear all rituals in your map before you're going to interact with it. After you cleared all the rituals, you will literally get amount of tribute and everything that you literally locked. So initially, I don't recommend to lock and defer anything which is bad, such as like exalted orbs, additional parts of the small currency and stuff like that. When you're opening a ritual, you just need to quickly check all the items in case there could be like good options for your initial buyout. So for example, some items could be nice. Those gloves are looking not that bad and we can just buy them or defer them. And focus on the omens. So for example, in that ritual, I have an omen of homogenizing exaltation. And it should cost more than 2 divines at the moment. So I'm going to defer it together with 2 omens of corruption. And since I think those gloves are not bad, I'm going to defer them as well. After it, you just need to reroll and get the same set of omens again. Here, you're deferring everything again without buying stuff out. A pretty important moment. I heavily don't recommend to go for Petition Splinter if you don't have a lot of additional tributes. And some omens, such as Omen of Gambling, for example, cost absolutely nothing. You're going to remember those and figure it out pretty fast, so I'm not going to get Omen of Gambling at all. Instead, I'm literally rerolling again, reaching out the final stage. As you can see right now, I have no rerolls. When you have no rerolls, instead of deferring, you can start buying stuff out. So first off, you can start buying out stuff which is the most important. So I have like Omen of Crystallization here for 1000, and I have an Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation for 1000 as well. For the rest of the tribute, you can also just click and defer the rest of the things, and after it, you can just stop at it. I'm usually just buying basic currencies such as Transmutation. So after you finish the process, just start the next map and do it again. So for example, from that map, which has been pretty good for me, and I prepared like multiple omens before, I got at least 2 of them, like Exaltation for 82 right now, which is very nice, and Crystallization for 16, which is not amazing, but kinda nice as well too. So that's how you're going to make most of your currency. Since Omen prices are pretty stable and not really locked that heavily to divines or exalted in general, you will be able to keep making currency in the most situation without a lot of issues. Just make sure that you're always buying good stuff. You can also get a very good rares from your ritual occasionally. Make sure that you're checking rares and taking them out for future crafts or just selling them right away. So that's pretty much it, and if you will just follow those simple steps, you will be able to receive a pretty decent farm just on the Omens. And if you will keep buffing maps with like maximum amount of modifiers, additional rare monsters, there's also a pretty big chance that you're going to drop something nice in the maps itself, such as divines or chaoses or exalted, and a lot of additional items too. I think right now ritual is in a very good position and could also be combined with other mechanics such as expedition or breach. Feel free to do that if you kinda enjoy those mechanics, or you can just focus on the ritual. You're going to end up with a profit anyway. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope that guide will help you to make some currency. See you next time, and ronarray out.